Hi, my name is Jack Martin. I'd like to share some thoughts with you on our nation's situation. While China poses the greatest threat worldwide to our nation today, and while Iran is always troublesome in the Middle East, truthfully, the greatest challenge or threat that our nation faces today comes from within our very government. Many find it hard to believe that the words of Abraham Lincoln could actually be unfolding in our lifetime more accurately than they are. It was Lincoln who said we would never be defeated by an outside army, but that we, if we were to fall, would fall from within. And this is what I believe we're seeing taking place in our nation today. But truth be told, our greatest threat comes from a combined force that is made up of the Democratic Party leadership, the left-wing media in America, and perhaps a plethora of sources outside the United States, not the least of which is George Soros. These are ones who would love to see the republic as we know it dissolved. Many of the quotes of our founding fathers actually warned us of this very set of circumstances taking place in our country today. During the Obama administration, over 300 military leaders were replaced by left-leaning cohorts. If I remember right, the question was asked at the time, would you be willing to shoot American citizens if it had to be? It was during the Obama administration that the NSA was caught by Snowden spying on American citizens, gathering intel information on us. It was at this point, and it's my firm contention, that many of the most powerful people in our country had their information searched to find some form of weakness in their character. That to me would explain why Chief Justice Roberts has suddenly flipped on the Supreme Court. It would explain why General David Petraeus was put in the position of CIA director and then later exposed for having had affairs. The Obama administration used him as long as they could and then threw him under the bus. I've always believed it was possible that the reason Anton Scalia was killed was because the search could find nothing on him, and yet they knew that he stood as an obstacle to what they were trying to bring about. Clearly, there are a lot of players, many in the intel field that fall into line here. Comey would be one, John Brennan, James Clapper, Andrew McCabe, Peter Strzok, even Mueller. If you look at the Mueller report, it would look as though that were tainted. They were part of a well laid out strategy to first prevent the election of President Donald Trump. And then after that failed, they were there to hinder that same election. It's a clear treasonous violation of all that America has ever considered sacred: our vote, our right to run our country by the voice of the people. But perhaps the combination of the Russian collusion, the attempt to impeach the president, all of the illegal FISA warrants that were put out, the Mueller report coming up with zero, and now the soon-to-be released John Durham report. I believe all of these give a clearer picture to the actual danger that our nation faces. All of this was made worse, if you can, by the introduction of COVID-19, a virus that allowed, if not was introduced by China, who is now working, from what I understand, with one of the members of BLM against the United States and in their efforts to defeat Donald Trump. You hear about the Russians backing Trump, trying to back Trump, but you never hear about China and Iran trying to back Joe Biden. We've seen now the dishonest COVID reporting of the news, a lot of deaths being attributed to never came from it. I'm not sure that I've ever seen a more corrupt media in my 68 years of life than I see right now. It very much resembles the Soviet Union's Pravda and TASS back during their era. The president early on closed the American borders when the COVID hit to China, for which he was called xenophobic by both Joe Biden, the media, and much of the Democratic leadership. He moved to provide major hospital in the Javits Center in New York to help with those in New York City, along with providing a medical ship in the harbor. None of this was used. This was all left unused. Instead, Governor Cuomo put COVID patients with those in the nursing home and ended up bringing out thousands of deaths of the elderly. The president ramped up the medical industry to produce a vaccine, one that is about to be put on the market, some say as early as November. He did it in greater speed than's ever been done before. He got mass amounts of PPE manufactured by using a wartime provision for production to get all of this done quickly. And yet all you hear about in the news is about 200,000 Americans who have died. You know, have we forgotten that originally the original prediction was that 2 million Americans were going to die? That never happened, and yet you've never heard a retraction or walking back of that. Joe Biden went on TV this week to say that 200 million Americans had already died from it, and he widely stated that if the president had acted sooner, that no Americans would have died. Now that statement is ludicrous. Those claims at best are bizarre. The Democrats, if you think about it, put forth a candidate that is clearly in the middle stages of dementia, who makes gaffe after gaffe, saying previous to this that 100 million Americans have been killed by guns. If he were right with 100 million Americans killed and the 200 million from COVID, America would have 40 million people left, and we all know that's not true. He, in an argument, one of the traits of dementia is that propensity to get violent. In an argument with a union worker, he told them he was going to take their AR-14s away. Joe, they're AR-15s, not AR-14s. He forgot at one point what the Declaration of Independence said. It said, you know that thing. In another interview, he talked about the hair on his legs and kids playing with it and knowing all about cockroaches and fighting corn pop and razor blades that were left in rain buckets to rust. This is insanity. He brings up his dad and comments that it's almost as if he wants you to feel sorry for him. But now, this past week, Ruth Bader Ginsburg passed away, and with that vacancy, the President of the United States is called on to put forth or to name a replacement. This has caused Democratic leaders, backed by the media, for their heads literally to explode. There are threats coming in now that are being made to say they're going to burn down the Congress. These are made by Antifa and BLM, and these are both Marxist groups that strongly support the Democratic Party. In fact, if you go to Antifa.com and click on it, it takes you to the Joe Biden fundraising page. Nancy Pelosi has threatened to impeach the president again, or she'll impeach the Attorney General, basically for no more than doing their job. AOC and others on the left, including Chuck Schumer, have said that they'll increase the number of Supreme Court justices to overturn the constitutional purists that now sit on the bench. That hasn't changed in over 100 years. Friends, our nation is in danger of being overthrown, third world style, and forced into a Venezuela style or a communist style government. The very peace that has preserved us for over 240 years, it's about to be destroyed. This is a time that every true patriot, every American needs to stand and be heard. They need to vote. They need to defend, if necessary, the Republic of the United States of America. I appeal to every nation-loving America to be out and vote November 3rd to help ensure that false votes are not introduced into the system, which is what the Democrats are poised to do with this mass balloting that they're attempting to pull about. Please pray for our nation. Stand with conservatives. Democrats, if ever there is a time, I'm asking you to switch a party one time. I'm asking you this time to vote Republican to save the United States of America. God bless you, thank you, and have a good day.